Hi, this is Gina. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to do a flip through of this book, Elvis at the Mississippi Alabama Fair and Dairy Show, September 28th, 1956, Tupelo. It's a big book, and I've only got, my arms are only so long, so I hope to get it all in. Let's see if I can focus it a bit better. But sometimes we might miss the sides of the pages. We'll see how we go. I haven't got any background music because I think this is going to take quite a while. And again, I don't want to risk the ire of YouTube. The previous book that I did a review of, I had music playing in the background, and YouTube jumped on it with a bit of copyright, but it was only in some countries. So I'd rather have no countries at all affected. Even though this book says that date in particular, it's there are photos from other, well, it says here the early years, the weeks before, the days before the actual fair, the day the 26th, the days after, and the weeks after. So there's photos of Elvis from other periods in his life when he was a kid and later on. But it's all early stuff, all very much pre-army. That shot with his hair all over his face. It's a fair and dairy show. Some of the cars on display. Now that one, let's see. Well, this is Elvis's millions of TV viewers saw him on Sunday night on the big network. Oh no, that I'd say that was the Ed Sullivan Show, or maybe the Dorsey, I don't know, but obviously the Mississippi Alabama Fair wasn't on TV. Yeah, here he is coming into Hollywood. Make me tender. Some really nice shots in this. Shots that I haven't seen before. Haven't seen either of those. They're good ones. I've seen that one before. That, of course, was in Las Vegas, I think. Yeah. This book was published in 2016, so we're looking 11 years down the track. It's possibly available from the Elvis Files website, maybe elsewhere, but as years go by, I think books like this get harder and harder to get, and obviously more expensive. The text is good. A lot of it is actual interviews that were taken done at the time. Elvis did a lot of interviews in the early years. Obviously, the Colonel wanted to promote him and let him, speak to magazines and newspapers, and they were recorded fairly faithfully, the questions and Elvis's answers. And then there's Elvis Answers Back magazine. Well, we know about that particular magazine and record that was put out. So that's just a transcript from that. Oh, I love that one. Wow, gorgeous man. I don't like them where they coloured so much. I think I prefer the black and white version. This article was from The Last Train to Memphis by Peter Gorelnik, The Atomic Powered Singer by Brian Peterson, and another book by Lee Cotton. So there's obviously bits taken out of various books. Okay, Nick Adams, his book, the book that he wrote. There's a few minor mistakes. This photo here, it says Elvis's mother making food in the kitchen. Well, not quite right. I can't imagine eating a teddy bear. I've seen that before. I've seen photos of him on the back patio like that, but not of the gun. Haven't seen any of these. Again with Nick Adams. That's cute. There's some cute text. Here we are, the big day. This is the reason that even though Tupelo put on this big parade to say welcome home to Elvis and celebrate him being there, there's something in the text about that he couldn't possibly be in there anywhere on a float. He'd be mobbed. They'd pull it apart to try and get to him. I mean, none of those people are Elvis. They're various bands doing Elvis songs as the floats move through the town. It'd be like Elvis in the Moomba Parade in Melbourne. It wouldn't last 5 seconds. Pull him off the float. Elvis came up on that stage, I thought somebody had just dropped an atomic bomb. They cheered so loud I thought I was going to lose an eardrum. Scotty Moore. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit like going to the Grand Prix. You need earmuffs for the screaming. It's a wonder Elvis didn't have a hearing problem. He might have worn earplugs in his ears in his concerts. Who knows? People, the lead up to the concert, the lead up to Elvis, I mean, at the concert, Elvis Tupelo pays noisy tribute. one of the reporters from the London Sunday Express who came to America to interview Presley. He got his interview and Elvis told him, "I'd like to go to England if I could go on a ship. If something were to go wrong on a plane, there's no land under you. That's a long swim." Right. Maybe I wanted a piece of Elvis. I wouldn't mind a piece of Elvis. I'm not going to say which piece. You mind a bucket of Elvis, Gina? Citizens of Tupelo took Vernon and Gladys on a tour of the city. They went around to the two-room house where Elvis was born. Somebody was living in it. Huh. Elvis's mother said it looked the same as ever. The neighbours all gathered around and were very happy to see her. Next day, Gladys said to Bitsy Mott, "Bitsy, I really enjoyed yesterday over in Tupelo. I never enjoyed myself so much in my life. Meeting people I struggled along with, they all treated me very nice." Vernon and Gladys were practically overcome. She wore a brocade dress and a locket with a photograph of Elvis around her neck. "It made me feel bad," she told a friend after, "to go back there like that and remember how poor we were." Vernon, on the other hand, was exuberant. He was wearing a dark suit, white shirt and tie, with the tie loosened slightly askew on a very hot day. Looks like giving her presents. Here's Patricia Garton. Lieutenant Governor's daughter Patricia would receive a lot of autographs and a kiss as well. "I was so in awe that every time he passed me I stuck out the autograph book for him to sign. I must have gotten 12 autographs that day. I'm sure he must have thought, what's going on with this little girl, because every time he passed I stuck the book out again for him to sign." Carol Lamb. Troops Quill Riders and Elvis's hometown. $20,000 people. Elvis sang and gyrated all over the stage. Ernest Bowen remembered, "This guy, he could work a crowd like nobody I had ever seen. He would get right down near the edge of the stage and stretch his hand out so just his fingers would touch the fingers of the girls, and they went crazy." Oh, God. And it didn't change. 20 years later, that was still happening. What a man. What a man. He was more than a man. He was some kind of angel. Well, maybe not, but he was very special. With the help of 6 of her friends, Hooper hoisted herself onto the stage where she stood in front of Elvis, holding her head in her hands, overcome with the excitement of the moment. Tammy Wynette was at that show. Elvis shrieked the girls in the front row, among them 14-year-old Wynette Pugh, later to become famous as country star Tammy Wynette. Elvis, they shrieked, tearing their hair and sobbing hysterically. Please, Elvis. You wonder how he kept his sanity, don't you? You really wonder how anybody could stay sane in 20 years of such adoration. And I count the army years too, because the German and European people, you know, they were there trying to catch a glimpse of him all those 2 years while he was overseas. So it never really stopped. Stop it. Control yourself. Yeah, some of the interviews are quite long, very interesting to read. Gorgeous photo. Looks like he did 2 shows, one during the day, one at night, going by the photos. Oops, 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 oops. evening performance, yeah, 2 shows. Wow. Colonel Parker's secretary, Trude Forster, interviewed Elvis in the dressing room of 20th Century Fox during the filming of Love Me Tender. Trude was Elvis Parker's secretary from 56 to 61. Ordeal, not orgy. A date with Elvis. Now he got his Elvis Presley sneakers on. Cotton Bowl Stadium. Screams kept up without relief for 4 minutes and 50 seconds. He entered the arena like a wild calf and began his bellowing to the tune of his million seller heartbreaker. That's not very nice. San Antonio News. I want him. He makes me feel crazy. He's wonderful. We want Elvis. Elvis turned Bexar County Coliseum into a bedlam of squealing, crawling, wild-eyed teenagers. show. Yeah, it certainly was a big year for Elvis, wasn't it? 1956. I'm glad I'm not a celebrity. Nearly at the end. Hobart Arena? Hobart. Not Hobart, Tasmania, Australia, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have been there. Well, not 1956, I wouldn't have. Teenagers squeal, flesh balls pop. Well, that's it. Eric Lorentzen, a native of Oslo, has been an Elvis fan since 1956, when aged only 7 he first heard Heartbreak Hotel. In 1964, he founded the Norwegian Elvis fan club with his friend Arne Metzner. Eric got the opportunity to see Elvis in concert and on several occasions. He was there when the King rocked Madison Square Garden, and the following year, Eric met his idol backstage at Nassau Coliseum, Long Island. He next caught up with Elvis at Las Vegas Hilton in March 1975, and soon after took up the King's invitation to visit him at Graceland. In addition to researching and compiling books and magazines on Elvis, Eric is also currently works as road manager of leading Norwegian pop group Vamp. Well, this was 20 years ago? 10 years ago, so I don't even know if he's still alive. I guess he is. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Oh, God, it's a big, heavy book. I'd love to own it because I love everything that relates to Elvis's early years. But yeah, I've just got no more room to put books, so I've enjoyed looking at this, and I'll give it back to Tony with many grateful thanks. Thanks for watching. Bye.